It looks like we're live. Let me get this link to the patrons and have them hop on, and we should be ready to go in just a few minutes here. Okay. So I think today I'm going to start with going over just the Git log and talking about some of what's been going on behind the scenes, and just kind of run through the commits, because I put out a lot of test builds to the patrons. If you're watching this after the fact and you're not already a patron, I'd highly recommend, if you want to try out some of the stuff and give feedback before it's really ready for general consumption, support on Patreon will get you access to that, and a reasonable amount of help with the in-progress features. So I'm going to scroll back down to the 22nd. So again, what I'm about to show is not yet public. It's not part of a version of Immersive Railroading that's been released. I've seen some comments on YouTube asking about that. So what is about to be shown is work in progress. The folks who are here via Patreon, I see a bunch of people are hopping on, which is excellent. They have been giving some initial feedback, putting together some test models, and really helping me refine this before it gets to the point where people are reworking their whole packs around it. So I appreciate all the patrons who are helping me test this, and I apologize if this is a little bit not terribly coherent. I'm switching gears from development to talking, and that takes a few minutes for me to really get back in the groove. Hey everybody, looks like we got a bunch of people here. So I think I'm going to hop in and get started. So, a lot of stuff happened this week. Not as much as I'd like, but that's every week. There's not enough hours in the day. So I ended up taking a day or so off babysitting the cats. They got fixed, so they are all set with the vet for a while. So that's one less thing I'm going to have to worry about. I'm also going to, in a few minutes, have to set down the headset and go check on my dinner, which is taking a little bit longer in the oven than I had planned on. But I'll just have to go double check on that. Hey, looks like Larky's joined from his show. Cool. All right. Well, let's actually dive into the changes. So most of the work this week has been on the door mechanics. I spent a little bit of time on lighting, but it was primarily doors. Doors and other in-game widgets. So there's some changes for the parts scaling, so that's been fixed a little bit better. So smaller or bigger models should detect interaction better. A little bit of refactoring the light flare stuff. Okay, this right here significantly improved the part dragging accuracy. If you remember in the last stream, I had quite a few issues with trying to drag something, and it just didn't really move right. And like I would have to drag in the wrong direction, or all sorts of funkiness. So I changed the methodology. And I'm going to talk about that real quick, because this the algorithm I had before was really, really complex and really didn't make a lot of sense. But really, all that logic lives inside this client movement delta code, and this I need to delete because this may or may not be correct. So I'll talk a little bit more about coordinate systems later on, but let's see. Long story short, this code is between every tick looking at where the player was looking before, cast forward a certain amount, and where the player is now looking, cast forward amount, and figures out that delta. So if you were looking at a place and you moved the mouse slightly, or you moved the player slightly, it now knows that new position, and it knows that movement. So it figures out the movement previous tick versus current tick, with some other squidginess mixed in there. And then and there's some stuff around like the taking into account that the stock is moving and rotating and stuff like that. But effectively, we have the difference in where the player is looking cast forward a certain amount, and we get the current position of the part, like the actual in-world part, given its current value, and we add that difference in the movement that we recorded from last tick to current tick from where the player's looking. And then we say, okay, well, if we moved it in the positive direction, what does that look like? And if we move it in the negative direction, what does that look like? And then we see which one is closer to where the player tried to drag the part. And depending on that, we either add to the delta or subtract from the delta. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but it's kind of, we take a guess as far as, well, if it's moving in the positive, if we think the player's dragging in the positive direction, where would that be? And if we think the player's dragging in the negative direction, where do we think that would be? And that's actually been pretty accurate. It's not perfect, and could probably use a little bit more tuning, but this is orders of magnitude better than the algorithm that was being used before. And there's been some other refactoring behind the scenes that means that this code, instead of being 50 to 100 lines long, is more like 10 to 20 lines long and is actually digestible, which I'm pretty happy about. My goal is that hopefully other folks can hop in and debug and modify this code, and it's not this crazy thing that is all filled with knowledge that really only I have. Like, if I gave this to Friedrich or Dark, they'd probably be able to figure this out without too much trouble. And Sebastian, who's been using some of the test builds, is saying it sure is a lot better. And it's actually gotten even better since the last test build I put out. And hey to all the new folks who've joined the stream since I started. Let's go back to what's actually changed this week, and I'll boot up Minecraft and we can play with some of the new features and talk about that. You can ignore the merge commits. That's just, I'm managing this in a couple different ways so I can test out the lighting independent of the in-game interactions and stuff like that. The configuration for lights, this is pretty cool. And there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that actually happened with that, but the light configuration, this is something that is not going to be quite as much as what some modelers would like, but it's going to be as far as I think I can reasonably take it in Minecraft. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I've posted some information in the patron chat room, but if I come into light flare and light definition, this is... So in the rolling stock definition JSON, there is now a lights area. And again, this will be documented in more detail when this feature is actually released as a test build and to modelers. But there is information in the patron room if you're interested in taking a look at this. So there's a couple different things you can fiddle with. So there's the blink interval, which means so every this many seconds it will turn off, and then after this many seconds again it'll turn back on again. And you can also offset it. So if you have 2 lights going or 3 lights going, you can offset each one of them. So ditch lights, for example, where you've got lights kind of blinking back and forth, you can do that now. And blink full bright means that if you have emissive textures as part of your light, as part of your headlight, you can have that part turn on and off, or you can leave that on by default. So like you could have the flare be like the high beams, and the full bright being the emissive textures would just stay on all the time. So there is some configuration there. I also added reverse color. Something that's been suggested that could also be added is neutral color or no movement color. So if the stock is just sitting still, it doesn't actually have you can actually set settings for that state. Right now it's really just moving forward or stopped or backwards. Something that's worth mentioning here, and this is something that I wish I could do for modelers, but actually implementing this would be pretty crazy, is the reverse color only applies to the color of the flare. So the flare will, like for example, if you're going backwards, you can turn a certain flare to red, or to black to turn it off. Or there's different stuff you can do there. But this will not apply to the emissive textures, because the emissive textures are like the color there comes from the model itself, and that I would have to actually modify the texture sheet for that to function. Let's see. Just a few questions. Last stream you said the whistle would have a pull rope. Yep, I've implemented that. I still need to do the horn button for diesels, but that is almost the same code and shouldn't be too hard. A pull rope for the bell. That would be interesting. I think it would be similar to the whistle where you pull it down and it turns on, and you let go and it turns off. Or maybe you pull down and it goes for a certain... Yeah, Creative King. That's something I can definitely do. We might even be able to play with that today. That's something we could take a look at. That would actually be kind of fun. It's a little bit funky how all that code works, but that's something we might be able to take a look at today. Yeah. Yeah, switching textures by changing directions. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, bell button, engine start button. Yeah, we can definitely start taking a look at adding some of that. Maybe we'll add the engine start button today. Well, I'll come back through this and we'll start playing with this once I get into it. We'll see how long going through the existing features is going to take. So that's the in-game light config. I actually haven't... I've set up some tests, but I haven't retrofitted any locomotives to use that stuff in earnest just quite yet. Let's see. That's behind-the-scenes stuff. In-game control overlays. This is actually pretty cool. If you look at, for example, the reverser or a door or whatever, it actually comes up with a little label saying what it is, which is good to have turned on when you're first starting to play with this stuff or aren't sure about where to look in a cab for certain controls. It is an option you can turn off via the graphics config, because it does get a little bit annoying after a while. Yeah, that's some behind-the-scenes refactoring. Doors are... this is more behind-the-scenes stuff, so controls handle most of the stuff. Door is an extension on top of control. So it allows some stuff there. In-game interactions into integration, yada yada yada. I've updated the P70 to have doors, and there's now multiple different door types. So there's interior doors, exterior doors, and connecting doors. Now I'll go through and do a demo of that, which is, I think, pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, so there's now an augment to flip the doors on and off. I may add the ability to hit other components as well. We'll see. And I did a bunch of refactoring today where previously I was taking the player's position and rotating it into the coordinate space of the rolling stock, but instead most of what I'm doing now is I'm taking the control position, applying a matrix operation that is now built into the locomotive so it knows how to take a position within the model and turn it into a real-world position, which is super handy and will make a ton of the render code a lot easier. And yeah, did some other... I've been slowly working on cleaning up a lot of the really bad math, so it's really only using the two coordinate spaces, the model coordinate space and the in-game coordinate space, not some of the intermediary ones, which is not good. Requirement for, so connecting doors, let's see. And then I just merged some stuff in here. Yeah, I just merged the 191 release into integration. At the end of the stream, I'll post the link to whatever the code we have at that point to the patron chat. Let's see, taking a look at the quick questions. Let's see. There's some questions that I do want to get into. I will be right back. I've got to check on dinner. Okay, I'm back. Dinner is out of the oven, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's see. Engine start sounds, brake sounds. Yeah, I think probably not for this release, but I definitely want to add the visceral feel of like the soundscape of your moving stuff. It's clanking and shifting, and that'll be pretty cool. I'm not planning on doing that for this update, but the next one, definitely poke me about that if I've forgotten, or add if there isn't already, a GitHub issue, put that in there so I don't forget. Let's see. Risco is asking about what inspired me to take on making this mod. I was playing Minecraft a handful of years ago and was just frustrated with the state of Rails of War, the fact that it wasn't open source. I had played with a ton of Railcraft, but it was always felt a little bit too Minecrafty for my tastes. And Traincraft was probably the closest to what I wanted to play with, but I wasn't comfortable with working on what they had with their license. So I asked the question to myself, how hard could it possibly be? And 3 years later, it's a ton of fun, but it still takes up a bunch of my time. But it's nice now that folks are actually contributing to that time, and I've got the room to really dig in and hopefully bring Immersive Railroading to its full potential. Let's see. Yeah, pull bell versus mechanical bell, that's a good distinction. Yeah, the handcar does not yet have a reverser. I need to go through and do some stuff to like the reverser stuff and the control stuff. I need to work on that a little bit this week because especially for some of the trains that Sebastian's working on, European trains, the reverser, or rather the throttle and brake are on the same control piece. So there's some different modes I need to work on there. I need to talk with Dark a little bit about some of the cab car stuff, which ties into this. So I think now that I've got the lights pretty well sorted, the in-game controls working reliably well, I think, yeah, the next step is just kind of shoring things up over the next week. And if everything goes well, maybe Thursday or Friday putting out an actual test build so other modelers can start hopping in and really pushing some of the stuff to its full potential, which I'm very excited to see. Diesel locomotives get in-game controls. They already do have some in-game controls. As far as what's in the base mod, I want to work with some of the modelers, and I may do some of that myself. I know just enough of Blender to be dangerous. Let's see. Bell animations. That is, I mean, given the control system and some of the other stuff I'm doing, that's something that is possible, and I honestly don't think would be that hard. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. That's, given that we now have a rotation point that you can specify a certain degree angle on, it wouldn't be that much different than the reverser code. And to answer your question, no, I did not fall. I just I don't have a stand for my headphones, so I set them down and they fell into a bowl. Let's see. Switches improved. Maybe someday. There's a lot more stuff that's a bit more visibly broken with the mod that I'd like to fix first. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't show a reverser, but it definitely needs it. Yeah, I don't use the handcar much, but I need to. That's one of the things I need to improve on. Yeah. Okay. Looped animations that could be linked to widgets. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Yeah, multi-step animations is not something I'm looking at doing right now, because I'm not entirely sure how I would do that in a way that wouldn't suck. via the object model system. Let's see. This is probably a good opportunity to boot up Minecraft and actually show off some of this stuff. And then, yeah, I think for the rest of the stream, I'll keep answering questions after and keep showing some stuff off, and then either do something related to the bells or add some on-off toggles, on-off controls, which I think I might do that. Yeah. Mizco, I don't think I'm quite ready to do that with the widget system just yet. I am planning on doing a linked animation system at some point within the next couple of updates, so that would be within the next 3 to 6 months. But that's going to be a whole nother ball of wax. Other locomotives planning on adding to the base mod? I'm not planning on adding any at this point. I'm actually planning on probably around 2.0 removing a bunch and just keeping a small set in the mod that have like a really good beginning experience. Because right now, A, the jar is huge, and B, it's really scattered. Like immersive railroading, I started adding a couple locomotives that I was interested in using SketchUp models, and folks started hopping in, Legend especially, and a bunch of other folks. And ended up just adding whatever people were making over time, and then eventually built a resource pack system and started transitioning to mostly stuff being added via resource packs. Let's see. The locomotive brake. Yeah, so right now we have independent brakes, but actually, like the independent brake is something that I think should be added potentially in this update. It depends on how some of the control stuff works with. Not sure why that's blinking. That's probably a bug. Oh, I know why that's blinking. At high speeds, some stuff is a little bit weird that I need to fix. So I think I trailed off in the middle of a... Oh yeah, so adding independent brakes. May or may not come this update. Yeah. Yeah. There's some stuff with velocities that don't necessarily work properly, but you can see it's a lot better than it was before. We're also like traveling at the top speed of the K4 right now, which is fun. So yeah, we've got our in-game controls. The brake isn't actually showing up because of something I screwed up with the model, but that's a whole other thing. Even at high speeds and going around curves, this stuff is almost silky smooth. It's to the point where I'm pretty proud of it. I'm gonna hop back here a little bit to show off some of the door stuff. Is the big boy staying? I honestly don't know. It's going to be a conversation with the modelers and some of the folks that I've been chatting about this with for a while. Let's see. When will the auto output port work on the casting basin? That should work as of the last release, and I know some people have played with it. Okay. So as much fun as it is to be flying around here, I'm actually going to do the demonstration on on a non-moving target. It's also a little bit quieter in my headphones. Hey boss, nice to see you here. So, here we have some doors. The first door that is detected is exterior doors, so if a door has exterior in the name, that's what it's set to. So, when the door is closed, it's the standard you kind of hop up the model. And when you open the door, you see, I mean, this is so much smoother than it was before. When the door's open, you can hop right in, which I think is pretty awesome. I'm not even sure if that, I don't remember if that was in last stream or not. Oh, this one should be unlisted. That should be... Well, I guess some people are going to have early access to this stream. I'm not going to change that now. But Uh, yeah, I need to schedule these and set them up quickly. I could have swore I chose the unlisted option when I was modifying this. YouTube's a little bit derpy about that. Though it's also entirely possible that I screwed that up. But, well, let's just call this an advertisement for being a patron, because you get to see these every week instead of every once in a while. So, door. Yes, that is a door. So, as I was saying, there's different types of doors. We have exterior doors, which work. This model's a little bit weird, and it's kind of glitches into this, but I don't actually know how the P70 works, and this seemed like the best way. So, close enough. Okay, so then this door right here is an interior door, and I can just walk through this. Interior bounding boxes haven't been implemented yet. Exterior ones are getting a little bit of loving. Why is that? That one is not happy. Come on. There we go. There we go. So if I'm going to close all these doors just so this is a little bit easier to see. And actually what I can do is I can come over here to this one and flip the lever, and hey, all the doors closed. Doors are open, doors are closed. Doors are open, doors are closed. So you can actually have some fun with stations, and you just need to put a handful of these down, link them via redstone. It is currently an untranslated name, but I'm calling it the actuator augment. I could have named it doors, but I might do something similar for Windows, and I don't know what other controls will be added in the future, so for now it's just kind of its own thing. Let's see, I'm gonna check check the list real quick. Let's see. Okay, doors opening should be side specific with the actuator. Oh, maybe. Now that I know where they are in world, I might be able to get away with detecting that, but especially maybe. That's going to be a hard maybe at this point. So I'm going to hop in, close the door behind me, and okay. So that detected that door. Come on, detect this one. Why? Why are you not detecting this one? I recently did make some changes to the code. This one. Door? That's not fun. That one's working. Is that... No, it's not acting on the external doors. That one's working. Interesting. Did I break? Looks like I broke something. Well, again, this is why it's still in progress. It's telling me I'm selecting a door. Hang on. Let's dive into this for a sec. Let's see. I mean, that one should be. I mean, if I go to this end, yeah, this one works. And I could have yeah, I've taken a screenshot with this one before. Why is it making that noise? Let me open these doors so they get out of the way. I wonder if it was... So I was able to open the other door through this one. So that's open. Let me come back and take a look at the code. So what we're seeing... So we're figuring out that point by post render, transform, draw text, and yes, we transform part center, get value of stock. Technically, we don't need to do that, I don't think. Yeah, this can actually just be that. But Anyways, client part dragging. Get bounding box. Increase by padding. Set a breakpoint there. Oops. Let's go back to terminal. Hit terminal. Go. It locks up my cursor so I can't do stuff. Put a little script that fixes that. Okay. Back to this, pulling back up the stream. I think it's a model problem. I could have swore I had both open. Okay. Back to Immersive railroading. Found is empty. Interesting. Get look vector. It's going up to 3 blocks forward. Huh. Let's try reducing that. Alright, so if I just plop one of these down, baggage coach. I mean, the good news is you can see that I can't actually walk through. Okay, so there's this door, there's that door, that door, and that door. Yeah, it does work. There's just something weird going on with this one in particular, where it's not actually functioning. So that is that door. So here's the question too. So other stuff on this works. It's not exactly perfect, but it's good enough. That door works. So I can right-click and go through. Oh, wait, hang on. That's the external door. Is there a extra? That's open. No, that's just not working. What the heck? I'm just going to replace it and see what happens. Okay. So that door opens, which means I can go this way. And if that door is closed, I can't actually go through. Again, there will be different immersive settings for that. Yeah, these streams are normally private. Yeah, there's something... Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, there's a bug in the code. I'll fix that after the stream. Long story short, if both of those are open, then you can walk all the way through. There we go. It's coming along. I said it's coming along. Come on. There we go. So yes, we've got multiple doors that are functional. And if I'm able to close one of these doors, it won't actually work. So grab that door, I can close it, and now I can't walk through. Ta-da! It's like a magic trick. When it works. So, hop off back over here. Let's see. So, let's see. What do I want to do for the rest of the stream? Let's see. One thing I should do is take a quick look at the patron voting. So it looks like headlights are still in front. The track permission system, that is coming. That will be in the next release. I have not done any work on that this past week, unfortunately. Doors animated parts system, that's definitely in there. Overhaul turntable, that has gotten a lot of votes. That, at this point, probably won't be in the next version, but it'll be in the version after that. And probably I'll lump some more particle emitters into that. Okay, yes, so going back to the chat. Let's see. Apologies, I've got too much stuff open. All right. Let's see. I do kind of want to add the animated bell. That would be fun to. That would be fun to see. Yes, these streams should. As for for those of you just joining now, these streams are usually patron only. I made a mistake today, and I accidentally made it public ahead of time. I usually make them public a day after the fact, but I'll just call this one an advertisement to what you get to interact with, like what this is like live. So this will be an advertisement to what this normally is like. So I'm not gonna make it private after the fact, but yeah, next week's will be correct. Why are you broken? This is bothering me. Let's see. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I don't have the locomotive open in Blender. I'll need to open up a new Blender window. Let's make bells that swing. Come on. Object file, models, rolling stock, locomotives. There's the K4 Pacific. Nope. To actually import the model. Give it a sec, and there we go. So right now, we've got this. Alright, so this whole thing is the bell, and you can see we've got these pivot points. Yep, come on, again. Blender's not my strong suit. We've got these pivot points here, this thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out that part of the model. Yeah. So bells, as most things are, backwards compatibility will probably be, I'm going to try and keep things as standard as possible. So this is named bell cube, yada yada yada, so we need to separate. I'm going to be a little bit lazy. Well, how lazy do I want to be about this? Let's see how well connected this is. If I select this face. Okay, so cool. I can select all of this and all of this. So we'll make this the bell pivot point. And I think I'm going to actually make this a control such that if you hop up on top, you can actually swing this back and forth. I'm not sure I'm going to play the noise when that happens, but that should be a little bit fun. What do I need to do? Right, so I need to hit P, which breaks it out into its own thing. And hit Tab. Okay, so this right here I'm going to now rename to bell rotate. Let's see. What do you think? The other thing to consider is bell timing. Is that going to be a JSON setting, or is that going to be a model setting? I think that's going to be a JSON setting, because we already configured the bell there. So bell rotation point, and let's see. Let's see if I can pull up a reference of. Let's do K4 bell. I don't know if there's any actual... I don't think I can find footage of that. But for now, I'll just set that to 90 degrees. And so now we can detect the bell as a control inside the code. And that will be the rotation point. This is, for those of you who haven't seen it before, you define a rotation point, which is usually a pin or some other object that rotates with the object. And this is the actual bell itself. Export object file, K4 Pacific, K4. And we'll add this as a control. So the first thing we'll do is we'll add this as a control. So we can manually swing it back and forth, and then we'll integrate it with the animation system. Oh man. I mean, that's part of the fun, is I enjoy seeing how the modelers do really crazy stuff with the things that I come up with. And technically, bells will support translations. I don't know of any bells that translate, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. So control, rolling stock. So first I want to go into the library and take a look at model component type. Did I? Okay, so I do have bells inside of here. So this is a bell, small plate. Okay. So we don't currently detect that as its own thing. So let me go into locomotive model. Oh, and technically I'm going to be able to support multiple bells. Like, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And again, people are going to abuse this, but though actually... Okay, we'll do the basics for now, but I might have it so that the rotation point has an interval specified. We'll see. We'll get back to that. Pausing that, heading back over to code. Okay, private. And this is, again, if other people want to start, that know how to code, want to start hopping in and doing different stuff with adding different types of controls, doing stuff like this isn't really that bad. I've done a pretty good job with the integration with this code to stuff. Control. Oops, nope. And we're going to make that bells. And we come down to here. We're going to do equals control.get. This is the model, the provider, model component type dot bell. Oh, this is interesting. So I think there's actually going to be two different ones. And that's not actually going to work. So this actually won't work with existing bells, which is going to be a little bit unfortunate. So I'm actually going to rename this to bell 1 rotation bell 1. Yeah. Okay. So, and I don't think that will break anything because we weren't doing anything with bells before, so yeah. So bell, rename this to bell X, score hash ID hash. Actually, no, that will break stuff. Copy this, make bell X. Alright, so those will both be grouped under the bell assembly step. Yeah, Buscade throttle is already a component that is integrated with that stuff. Okay. Sorry, I'm actually getting fairly hungry, which is making me a little bit lightheaded. Okay, so bell X. So I will probably stop this in about 15 minutes just because I do need to eat dinner tonight. But I'll go as long as I can manage. So we got our bells. So now at this point, we've detected these components. And then we need to come down and render them. Oh, no, I do already detect bells. Okay, cool. So do bells dot for each. Dot render. What else do I need here? Oh yeah, stock and the draw matrix. And then we come down to here, post render, and do the same thing. The post render is where I do stuff like where I do what do I do here? Oh yeah, this is where I draw the text. Let's see. Oh, the link just connected to a Steam engine. Not currently. I do plan on adding a linkage system, but that will not be implemented in the first version where this gets released. Yeah, the linkage. Once linkages are in, there's going to be some really incredible stuff you can do with this, but this initial release is just going to be the basics. Rotation, translation, and that all being linear. Okay. So bells are now... Okay, so let's do a quick... Oh, actually, no, I did forget something, but I can always debug add that. Get draggable components. We need to mark this as draggable. Technically, I don't need to make it draggable, but I just think it's kind of fun. Bells. And then what we'll do is we'll modify the bell state depending on what's going on. I love how quickly this boots up. I mean, I do have quite a few packs activated, but it's really not bad. Option to have thicker smoke for the steam engines. Interesting. What do you mean by thicker? Okay, just about booted up. While that's thinking, I want to take a look at this. Probably do it under effects, if anything. Density? Oops, this is the wrong world. I don't honestly know what this world is. Oh yeah, this was testing the new... Seeing how badly stuff lags when you load in for the first time with a ton of different textures loaded. Yeah, which is why I have a portal around here somewhere. Anyways. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know, loading in is now a lot better. There we go. Okay, so we should... the bill won't actually do anything at the moment other than... What? Bouncing? Come on. Come on, still bouncing. There we go. Oh, did I... Let me make sure. Okay, I did not actually export that correctly. So I modified it. Let me export... Object file, okay, for Pacific. And then I'm kind of curious if this will crash my game. Technically, you should only ever really run this. I mean, like, this command really shouldn't work or do anything. Yeah, I'm gonna quit. Oh yeah, that's breaking stuff. That's breaking stuff bad. I'm gonna kill that. Kill the fire. There we go. Ah, yeah, so smoke should get darker when there's when you fill up the firebox all the way. And the less slots you have burning, the lighter it'll be. That doesn't always work. There's some bugginess there that I've never actually been able to figure out. I'll probably dive back into that when I revisit boiler mechanics in a little bit. While we're waiting on that, so I think. All right, so that. Okay. That might be a problem. So I am actually using the bell for sound effects at the moment. I'll have to think about how I want to do that. I'll probably keep tinkering with this after the stream. While I'm just playing around with getting the bell moving and eventually getting the code merged together. In the meantime, ask whatever questions you have in chat and I'll try and get to them before the stream ends. Okay, multiple floor support and stairs. Not this update. Why is that not working? Let me put in some debug. A quick locomotive model. Draggable add all bells. That I mean, it should technically be draggable. Let's see. There are 0 bells. What? Okay. Oh, because it's bell cube. Okay, that would do it. I'm just gonna hack that for the moment. Kill Minecraft. Technically, this should be here, but again, we're hacking it together for fun. This should detect the bell correctly. And so, in the meantime, this will be. So we're going to do stock.getTicks divided by 90. What packs do you recommend for a lower end PC? There is the low resources pack, which will remove stock that's already in game. I know Larky's are fairly low. Well, he does a lot of work, so the textures aren't that big. So that can help. Honestly, trial and error. It depends on your computer and what the constraints are. Okay. So this we're actually going to do modulo 90 at 90. Let's do int duration equals 180. I'll just do 90. Yeah, smallest textures are in the voxel packs. Though you do have to be careful because they do tend to have a little bit higher poly counts. Oops, get rid of this. Okay, we have 1 bell. That is a good thing. Oop. Okay. Woo! We can manually ring the bell. How about that? Yes, it is fairly stupid, but I do enjoy it. Alright, so I also need to modify the control a little bit. This is kind of hacked at the moment, but it's not that bad. that. That should work. Oh, no, because I haven't... Let me... build that. Yeah, poly count is much less of a problem than it was before. But again, graphics cards are finicky things. Woohoo! We can drag the bell back and forth. Now all we need to do is animate it when the bell is actually turned on. Alright. So what we're doing here is we're going to do duration times 2. Let's do this. Oops. So I don't actually know the order of operations. Divided by duration cast to a float. Should be able to do stock.set control positions. Bell X. Actually, it's divided by duration, that should be fine. Why are you yelling at me? Oh, that. I should actually put that in parentheses. Pipes between cars staying connected. Maybe with the linkage system? Not entirely sure. Hey, it's moving! Not necessarily what I am exactly looking for, but we can keep fiddling with that. So we're going to do math.absolute value of that. Stock get tick count, duration. So this gives us a 0 to 1 value. So we actually want to do this. 0.5. Oops. Times 2. And we're going to reduce this to, let's do like 20 ticks. So it'll do it like go back and forth once a second. Hey, look at that. I don't know why it's stopping there and glitching. Oh no, actually we need to modify 1. Or -1. There we go. There we go. How about that? Oops. And then what we're going to do is if dot get bell is greater than 0, then we're going to do this. Else, we're going to set it to 0. Actually, we're going to set it to 0.5 float. Alright, so that should reset it to there, and if I hop in, is that the... That's the bell. Oh yeah, animating the rope for that, that's gonna be funky. Again, the linkage system might make that possible someday, but again, immersive railroading, the way that I tend to work on it is steps in the right direction, with hopefully not making work too hard for modelers. That's really not that bad. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So Boss is asking about the air hose and pipes suggestion. I think to have it work well, you'd have to use the linkage system. Yeah. Yeah, getting the bell to sync with the ding, I don't think I'm going to do quite at the moment, because different locomotives are going to ding at different rates. But I think I might add a config for that, like with an offset and a duration. Yeah. It's moving. Piece by piece. Parabolic swing. Let's see. How hard would that be? Okay, I'm up for a challenge. Yeah. Oh god, no, I'm not reading the OGG file and doing an FFT on that. That's insane. Yeah, so I'd probably put that as like a JSON setting. Okay, so let's do something interesting. Yeah, let's just use like an x squared sort of thing. So right now we have a value that is sweeping from -1 to 1. Yes, I know the power operator exists. I'm just kind of curious what this is going to do. I mean, that is kind of cool. It's not what I was going for, but it is kind of cool. Oh, because I'm doing the absolute value there, that's why. I'm definitely doing something wrong here. Oh, right, no, this is only going from 0 to 1, that's why. Wait, no, that's... Oh, I know what I did. It's going from 0 to 1 and then back. So val equals val minus 0.5 f. Val equals val plus 0.5 f, I think. Okay, it's doing the right thing, but inverted. Sorry, I had to turn off this bell. This is driving me nuts. Yeah. No, I know it's cubic. I'm just being lazy. Let's if we so the better way to do this, I think. Let's rewrite this a little bit. Stack get to count divided by duration. Well, no, because it actually has to be a 0 to 1 value, but we I mean, Tiger, if you want to suggest math in the comments, feel free. This is like people are surprised that the physics doesn't work, and like I'm very much not good at math. I'm an excellent programmer, but I'm really not good at math. All right, so we have a value now sweeping from -0.5 to +0.5. And it's accelerating in the middle as the values get smaller. So if I were to do, well, what does that look like? That's definitely not it. But, I mean, it is moving back and forth again. It's a cup-down parabola. Centered on... Okay, so you're just saying it's x squared? Okay. Okay. I just have to remember how to... So this offsets it so it does move to 0. Oh, and then this absolute values it. That's the... Negative y is the position of the bell. Okay. Right, square root, that's why. Okay. No, I was... bells go... Oh, okay, it is an infinity bell. Yes. So, but you said where y is the... Okay, so, well... Okay, so... So val times val. Alright, so what I... Yeah, what I... Man, this is why I need to eat before the stream and not after. Absolute value, stack count. So, right, so we're going from... Let me just to make sure I'm not crazy. So it's going from 0 to 1. And what we need to do is accelerate it around 0.5. Yeah, I feel like this isn't the right way to do it. Oh, right, because I need to copy sign. No? Oh. Good question. That's without the nonsense I was playing with. Yeah, so the left to right is perfect. So I think what I need to do... So it's... Yeah, well, because, again, the position... Oh, you know what I could do is I could bring it back to... Okay, I think I know how to do this. So we need to go from 0 to 2. Okay. Thinking. So if we do this... So this is currently... So let's get rid of this absolute value here. Okay, so now it's going. So we know that it's going from 0. Let's pause this real quick. 0 to 1. Then it jumps right to -1. So I want this to be a run up to. I need this to be. Sorry, I gotta turn my volume off. Or at least down. There we go. So I need this to be from 0 to 1 and back. So our value is from -1 to 1, which is why I did the absolute value of this whole thing. Oh, but that actually, so I think I want to absolute value it after. So, this goes 0. So this goes -1 to, well, And you guys wonder why the physics in immersive railroading don't work right. Oh wait, hang on. Is that actually working and I wasn't even paying attention? No. Actually, the absolute value doesn't even do anything there. So this is why I was trying to offset value, so... if I were to do that... I don't think that's going to do what I want, but... no. No, it's not a tick smoothing... yeah, so it's not a tick smoothing thing. What's happening is this value is 0 through... this is -1 to +1. And then what I need to do is then have it go back to from 1 back down to -1. Because this is giving me... so this right here gives me 0 to 2. So yeah, so this right now is 0 to 2. But when I add the -1, this gives us -1 to +1. And this is not easy on an empty stomach. Okay. Alright, and currently this is... what does this look like, just to make sure I understand? It is going back and forth, but it's... okay, it's only accelerating in one direction, that's why. So that's the problem. Oh, can you guys actually hear that? There we go. That's better. Okay, so, right, because... I think I'm going to leave this here for now. I need to go have some food. This is not my forte. I've got it working on the half curve. I'll get it working on the full curve eventually. Are there are there any other questions before I go? Let's see. Give people a minute. Could you come back? Probably not tonight. I've got some other stuff going on. And tomorrow night I'm going to be busy, unfortunately. But I can try hanging out in the patron chat a bit more. You probably need to reapply the sign after squaring. But public and yeah. No, Dank. I mentioned that earlier, is that I accidentally made it public. And it's just a preview for what things are like with Patreon. The one last week was a little bit more fun. Because this time I kind of fixated on bills a little bit. But yeah, this is just a window into what my day-to-day is. And unfortunately, more of it than not is fighting with math that I don't fully wrap my head around, because it's just what I've got to work with. Let's see, I'll probably be in the patron VC for a bit. Do the -1 after squaring. Yeah, I'll have to play with it outside of it. And Tiger, we can chat on the side. So I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Thanks for sticking with me for 15 minutes of probably not super exciting content playing with bells. But you guys get the idea. This is how this works. You guys hop on, suggest stuff, and sometimes I'll nerd snipe myself into playing with something for a good bit. But this sort of stuff is like the actual mod is moving along bit by bit. Hi, James. It's your dinner time. And hopefully we'll have a test build that's publicly available later this week, if everything goes well. So, all right, thanks everyone for hanging out, and I will see you all next week. Yeah, should have hopefully this fixed up and ready for the patrons to play with tomorrow. Or maybe even later tonight, depending on how stuff goes. See you all next time.